Okay, so we are here today for our week 2 review of our beginning bridge class. And this past week, we talked about major suit openings and responses. But if that's the main topic we're going to cover today. But before I start on that, a couple of things I wanted to wrap up that we started the week before. The first thing is I had given you all homework that everybody needed to go ahead and use this sheet to apply for your guest membership with the American Contract Bridge League. So I hope that all of you have, or that you will do that, and that you haven't forgotten about it, because it is a special benefit to you. It doesn't cost anything. They won't keep your name around and hound you forever if you're worried about that, and some people do. But it is a good thing. It'll provide you information, and it also registers you with me and with our club as being part of this class. And ACBL supports this class and does some of the promotion of the class. And so it's only fair that they are able to see some results. So that's why we ask you to do that. And it is a good thing for you to do, because it is good information that you'll have. And I think you'll enjoy it. The second thing was that we got our books this week. And this is the Bridge Basics 1, an introduction. Later in the class, part 2 of the class, you'll receive Bridge Basics 2, competitive bidding. And these books are really good. The person that wrote this book, Audrey Grant, is pretty much recognized as the beginning bridge instructor. And these are the kind of standard books. There is another set of books you might have seen if you've had other classes, or if you looked through ACBL for their material. There's a spiral bound set of books that were the original official curriculum for the American Contract Bridge League. Those books were actually written by Audrey Grant. And then after that contract ended, she went out and wrote her own set. These are very similar to the other ones. I just like the way these are arranged a little bit better. That's why I use these. The nice thing about these books is that there are 4 chapters here. Each one of the chapters covers a different topic. We go through those in order, except for the no Trump section. The no Trump section we do last in order for the beginning bridge book. In each chapter, she goes through and has some great discussion. She presents the material, gives a lot of examples. At the end of the chapter, there is a summary of what's been covered in the chapter. Immediately after the summary, there are exercises that you can do, and I would suggest you do them. And we'll do some of them in class, but it's really to your benefit to do those yourself. And then after the exercises, there are 4 practice hands that are in there. After the 4 chapters, at the end of the book, there are, I think, another 16 practice hands that cover the material that's in the book. So the book is very good, and we'll be using it throughout the class. And I'd suggest you use it. Some of you may find it more useful to read it before class, so you'll be prepared for what we talk about in class. Some of you may find it better to use it as a review and to support what we've covered in class. And so you do it after class. Either way you do it, it's up to you. Do it on both sides. That's probably best. But okay, let's review a little bit about just bridge in general, because a lot of you are being introduced to bridge for the first time. And so it helps to kind of go back and reinforce how this game actually works, because it's different than a lot of the other trick-taking games. A lot of similarities, but a lot of differences too. So first, let's look at an actual bridge game itself. this is uh, a program called Bridge Based Online. And I'd suggest that you guys think about taking a look at this. We'll probably talk about this later in class, but this is a really good way to play bridge online. The problem with it is that it plays a little bit differently than what we do. So if you use this system to play online, over about the next year, you'll be playing everything the way that these robots on the bridge base do. But if you use the robots now, it'll be a little bit different than what you're learning. But you can play with your friends online. You can get people together in your class and play it. Anyway, let's just take a look at this because I just want to remind you about some things about bridge. First of all, we play with a 52 card deck. We don't use jokers. It's just a standard deck of American bridge cards, okay? Or any deck you buy will have the same thing, but you just need to take the jokers out. So we play with 52 cards. There are 4 suits, clubs, diamonds, hearts, and spades. We also have a 5th category that we call no trump. So there are the suits and then the category no trump, but the cards themselves have 4 suits, clubs, diamonds, hearts, spades. There are 13 cards in each suit. And in bridge, the cards are headed by the ace. So it's the ace, king, queen, jack. Those are the 4 honor cards, face cards, picture cards, ace, king, queen, jack. And then 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 to the 2. So that makes 13 cards. When we play bridge, we shuffle the cards up, we deal them out, 1 to each person at the table. In bridge, we have to play with 4 people. 4 people and exactly 4 people. 3 can't play, 5 can't play, has to be 4. Just for the sake of ease of identifying where people are at the table, we identify the places at the table as north, east, south, and west. North, east, south, west. Those are the 4 positions at the table. Anybody can sit at any of these. They can move around. They don't have to actually face the direction you think, but we just use those as a convenience, especially in class or if we're playing an official game, to determine which hand we're talking about at all the different places that may be playing that hand. So up here on the screen, I have an example of a hand that's just been dealt out. You can see up at the north hand, they have received all of these cards. They have sorted them into suits, red, black, red, black. They've put spades, hearts, clubs, and diamonds. They just do, that's how they do it here. You can put them in your hand any way you want. I don't care. But divide them into suits and then sort the suits high to low. That's the best way to, so you can see what's in your hand. After you have, everybody has their suits sorted out, you are then going to value your hand. And a reminder that here is how we value our hand. An ace is 4 points, a king is 3 points, queen is 2 points, a jack is 1 point. And then we also add 1 point for every card over 4 in a suit. So let's go back to this hand and take a look. Up here on this top hand, the north hand, we've got an ace and a king. That's 4 and 3 is 7. Here's another 4 and 3, another 7. That's a total of 14 high card points here, plus 1 for length. So this hand values to 15 points. This hand, we've got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 high card points, plus 1 for length. Down here, this poor person in south only has 1 queen, 2 points. That's it. Then this hand over here has 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, plus 1 for length, a total of 13. So each person just adds up the points in their hand. Of course, here I'm showing you all 4 hands. If you were actually sitting at the table, everybody would have their hands up, concealed, so you could see only your hand. But here, just for teaching purposes, we're looking at all 4 hands. We assign one person to be the dealer. In this case, it's North. Little D up here tells us that. And so the dealer is the first person to bid. So in this case, North would look at their hand, look at their 15 points, and decide what they want to bid. And here we would bid 1 diamond. Don't worry about how I decided at that, because you're going to get to that. But the first person bids. Then the next person looks at their hand. It goes around the table clockwise. Does this person want to bid? Well, this person has enough points to bid 2, so they might bid 2 clubs. The next person looks at their hand down here and says, well, my partner's bid 1 diamond. Somebody else has bid 2 clubs, but I only have 2 points. I'm not going to bid anything. I'm going to pass. And then this next person looks at their hand and they think, oh boy, my partner has bid clubs. I have a lot of points. I have a lot of clubs. So I'm going to support my partner and I will bid clubs too. Again, don't worry about the fact you don't know these rules yet. Just the practice of the thing is. And they're probably going to jump up and bid more to show their partner they have a lot. They might jump up to 4 clubs. So they bid 4 clubs. Then it comes around to North. North is deciding, well, gosh, it's already at 4 clubs. I don't have any more points. My partner didn't bid. I'm going to pass. This person then is probably going to pass. They would think about it, but then pass. And South, whose turn it is now, had no points to begin with, so they've got nothing to say. They would pass. As soon as there are 3 passes in a row, that's the end of the auction. And the last bid made was the one that is the contract. In this case, 4 clubs is the contract. So that means you need to take 6 tricks plus 4 more. East West have agreed that they're going to play this hand, and they are going to play trying to take 10 tricks, 6 plus 4, with clubs being trumps. And the person who actually plays the hand, who is the declarer, talked about that last week before last, declarer is the first person that named clubs. So it is going to be East that is actually playing the hand. The West hand will go down as dummy, even though they were the last to bid. They were not the first to mention clubs. East was the first person to say clubs. So it's their hand, they are declarer. And the person to the left of the declarer leads. So the South hand will lead out something. They can lead whatever they want. Since their partner has bid, usually they lead their partner's suit. So they would lead the 2 of clubs. Now, in real life, everybody at the table could see their hand and the West hand only. So sitting South, I could see my hand and the dummy hand. North can see their hand and the dummy hand. And East can see their hand and the dummy hand. So you can always see half the cards at the table. Then we go around playing 1 card at a time, following the suit that was led. 2 of diamonds was led. 3 of diamonds is played. They can take it with the ace if they want. And then East has to follow suit. That means that North won that trick with the ace. They get to lead the next suit out. But look, they can see that there are no more diamonds in the dummy hand, the one that's down on the table. So they're not going to lead another diamond because West could trump it. If they wanted to lead this king, which ordinarily they would think would win because the ace has won, the king should win, but they can see that there are no diamonds on the dummy. And so when that diamond is played, West can put a club on that. They can trump that diamond. They can use one of those clubs that they've identified as a trump suit to win the trick. So the highest card wins that's been played unless there is no cards in that suit in someone's hand. And in that case, they may play a trump and the highest trump played on that trick will win. Or they may decide not to trump and then they can throw away any other card they want and it just goes away. That's how we play. We just go around the table that way until all 13 cards have been played. Somebody will win every trick. Each trick will be won by one side or the other. And at the end, you count up how many you won and how many the opponents won. In this case, the opponents cannot win more than 3 tricks. If they win 4 tricks, the East-West will not have made their bid, and so they will lose points on this bid. If they make their bid, if they take the 10 tricks they said they thought they could take, then they will get to get points. You saw that as we went around, we went up the bidding ladder. We talked about the bidding ladder a little bit. Here is the bidding ladder. Every time you bid, you start, the lowest thing you can start with is 1 club. And then it goes up, 1 club, 1 diamond, 1 heart, 1 spade. These are, the suits are ranked in bridge. Clubs is the lowest, then diamonds, then hearts, then spades, then no trump, then 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, 2 spades, 2 no trump, etc., all the way up to the top. When you're bidding in bridge, you're always saying that you are going to take 6 tricks plus 1 more. The reason for that is there are 13 tricks that you could take. Somebody is going to take more tricks than the other one takes. You can't split the tricks, so it can't be 6.5 tricks. So whenever you bid, you're saying, I'm going to take at least half the tricks plus 1. So 6 plus 1. So 6 is called the book. You're always bidding with the book plus 1 more. So you start at the 1 level and you go up. You can start anywhere on the bidding ladder, actually. You could start with 2 spades or 4 clubs or whatever. You can start anywhere. The point is, wherever you start on the bidding ladder, everybody has to bid above that then. But they don't have to bid the very next thing up. They can skip up. You notice that hand we just looked at. Somebody bid 1 diamond, then somebody bid 2 clubs, then somebody passed, then the next person jumped up to 4 clubs. So you're bidding back and forth. Each bid that you make says something about your hand, about the points that you have in your hand or don't have in your hand, and bidding continues until 3 people pass. The last bid that was made is what the contract is. That's what you have to make in terms of tricks. On the bidding ladder here, it also gives you some points out to the side. These are about the number of points that you need to have between you and your partner to bid, okay, or to make that number. So if you and your partner have about 20 points together, you can probably make 1 of something. If you have 22 or 23, you can probably make 2 of something or take 8 tricks. And notice that if you have 20 or 21 points, if there are an ace is 4, a king is 3, queen is 2, jack is 1, there are 10 points in each category 4 categories, a total of 40 points. So if you and your partner have 20 points, you've got half the points in the deck. The more points you have, the less points someone else have. This is a zero-sum game. So if you have 24 or 25 points, the opponents only have 15. You can probably play to the 3 level then, 9 tricks, and so on up the ladder until you get to the really high ladders, which don't come up very much, where you're bidding what's called a small slam, where you say, I can take every trick but one. Or a grand slam, where you say, I can take every trick. The higher you go up, the more points you get for accomplishing your goal. But there are 3 points that I want to particularly mention and for you to kind of keep in mind. And those are the game level bonus points. You can bid to any level, but until you bid to the game level for the suit or the level that you're talking about, you don't get bonus points. But if you bid to the level of 3 no trump, 4 hearts or 4 spades, 5 clubs or 5 diamonds, you get bonus points for bidding a game in those categories. So you're always thinking to yourself when you're bidding, it seems to me, like in the previous case, East West had a lot of clubs. So they would be thinking to themselves, we've got a lot of clubs. Can I get to a game in clubs? Well, the game in clubs is a 5-level game. It requires about 29 to 32 points. That's a lot. And they decided they didn't have quite that much bidding back and forth. So they decided they would stop before. They stopped at 4 clubs. So they were going to get points, but not the most points they could have gotten if they bid to 5. So as you're bidding up the ladder, you don't know anything about how to bid yet, but just as you're bidding up the ladder, you want to think about stopping as low as you can if you've determined that you can't bid a game. It's part of the principle kind of what we're going to be talking about. So that's the bidding ladder. Okay, that's kind of a review of what we did. Now, let's focus on the rules we need to have to actually bid. So let's start talking now about really what the rules are. We haven't been talking about rules of what we bid. We've just been talking about, okay, you can bid this or that. But now let's talk about what we actually mean when we make a bid. And we're going to start out talking about major suit openings and responses. When you are opening the bidding, the first person to bid at the table needs to have 13 points to open. If you bid 1 club, 1 heart, 1 diamond, 1 spade, or 1 no trump, you are promising somewhere between 13 and 21 points. To bid 1, to open the bidding with 1 of anything, the bid is going to be between 13 and 21. That's the meaning of the bid in general. We're going to focus in this whole class on opening bids of 1. A little bit in competitive bidding, we do talk about starting at the 2 or 3 level because there's special rules for that. But in this first part of the class that we're talking about, you will always start with either 1 club, 1 diamond, 1 heart, 1 spade, or 1 no trump. And what you start with, we have a priority for picking which one you want to start with. And the priority is that our first choice, the first thing we would like to bid is 1 no trump. But 1 no trump has a real specific meaning. It means you have between 15 and 17 points, and you have no more than 1 doubleton. You have which in a doubleton is 2 in a suit. So you have cards in every suit, at least 3 cards in every suit, except 1 card can have 2. 1 suit can have 2. But the best thing to have would be like 4, 3, 3, 3. Very balanced. No suit has a lot more than another suit. Balanced hand. We'll talk more about this later when we really cover no trump. But no trump has a real specific meaning. That's why we like it. That's why we like to bid it our first priority, because we can describe our hand in this narrow range of 15 to 17 points right off the bat. But we have to have 15 to 17 points and a balanced hand. So we can't always do that, but that is our first priority. Our second priority, if we can't bid no trump, is to bid a major suit. You noticed on the bidding ladder that a major suit requires the four level to get a game. So we like major suits better than minor suits, because minor suits you have to go all the way up to the 5 level to get that bonus. So we like major suits. So that's our second priority of what to bid. But the special rule for a major suit is that you must have a 5-card major to open in that major suit. So just like the first priority, no trump, 15 to 17 and a balanced hand. The second priority, the major suit opening, promises between 13 and 21 and 5 cards in a major suit. So if I say 1 heart or 1 spade to open the bidding, I've got 13 to 21 points, and I have a 5-card major suit, the heart or the spade that I've opened. Okay, so the openings are pretty easy. The openings are pretty easy because, and if I don't have that, if I don't have no trump and I don't have a 5-card major suit, I open my better minor suit, and we're going to talk about that next week. This week, we're going to focus on when we have that major suit opening 13 to 21 points and 5 cards in the suit. At least 5, can be more. So now the question is, what does my partner do when I open one of the major? The entire purpose of us bidding back and forth is to answer the 2 questions that we talked about the first week. The bidding questions are, how high should we go? And we determine that by on the bidding ladder. How high up the bidding ladder can we go? How many points do we have between us? That's what we're going to be talking about back and forth as we communicate back and forth with our partner. And the second thing we're trying to decide is, where should we be? Should we be playing clubs, diamonds, hearts, spades, or no trump? So our communication back and forth is, this is what we're communicating. How high and where? These are the 2 questions that we're answering as we communicate back and forth. So our partner has opened one of a major, 1 heart or 1 spade. So now we have to decide what to do. The first thing that we need to think about is, do we have 6 points? If we don't have 6 points in our hand, remember on the hand that we were looking back over here on BridgeBase Online, this poor hand down here had 2 points. They aren't going to bid anything ever. I don't want to say that. There is no never in bridge, but in general, they are not going to bid. They're just going to pass. So that's the first question. Do you have 6 points in your hand? If you do have 6 points in your hand, then you are going to want to bid something. And think about this. If your partner has opened the bidding and has 13 points or more, 13 plus, if you have 6 points in your hand, you are guaranteed to have just about half the points in the deck. Okay, 7, you would clearly have half the points in the deck, 13 and 7. But the chances of your partner having 13 and only 13 are not that good. It's at least 13. So we use 6 as the number where you can respond to your partner. Your partner has opened, they have bid first. We are responding to our partner. The first person that bid is the opening bidder. The person who is then responding to that opening bid, the partner is the responder. So we want to talk about responses to one of a major. Our just like we had priorities in opening, we've got priorities in bidding. The first priority is to raise your partner's suit if you can. In order to raise your partner's suit, we have to have a fit with our partner. And we talked about that the first week, that a fit, our magic fit that we call it, is where we have at least 8 trump between us, at least 8 of a suit between us. We want that suit to be the trump suit. Remember, you've got 13 cards in a suit. Equally divided, as equally as they could be, would be 7 and 6. I've got 7, opponents have 6. Even better is if you have 8 and the opponents have 5. Then you're really talking about dominance in the suit. That's why we look for the 8 card fit. So if my partner has opened one of a major promising 5, if I have 3 of the major, at least, I know we have our magic fit. So that's the first thing I want to do, is tell partner, we have a fit. We found it right off. You bid hearts, you've got 5, I've got 3. So the first thing you want to do is, your first priority is to tell partner you have that magic fit. So your first priority is to raise partner's suit. Now, as we're learning bridge, I'm going to throw curves at you all the time because that's what bridge is. All right. So here's the first curve. When you can raise your partner's suit because they have opened a heart or a spade, and you've got at least 6 points so you can bid something, and you have 3 in their suit, you can now revalue your hand because you have what's called dummy points. Your partner opened the major, you have support for the major, you're going to support their suit. So your partner is going to be the declarer. You already know that on this hand because they started the suit that you also have. So you're going to be the dummy. When you have that, you revalue your hand. You revalue your hand. And now, rather than using those linked points, 1 for every card over 4 in a suit, you use what's called shortness or dummy points. And now you give yourself 5 points if you have a void, which is no cards in a suit. 3 points if you have a singleton. A singleton is a single card, 1 in the suit. Or a doubleton, 1 point for a doubleton. A doubleton is 2 cards in a suit, double, 2 cards. So you now revalue your hand using those shortness points. That usually means your hand is worth more. So now you use those revalue points to decide how high you need to bid. If you have 6 to 10 points under this revalued scenario, you'll do a single raise. So 1 heart, 2 hearts, just 1 single raise up the bidding ladder. If you have 11 or 12 points, you'll do a double raise. So 1 heart, 3 hearts. You'll skip over a level in the bidding ladder. 1 heart, 3 hearts. If you have 13 or more points, here's another curve. You would think you would just raise to 4. And you could raise to 4 because you know that you've got 26 points. Your partner has 13 at least. If you've got 13, that is up to the 4 level. 26 points is the 4 level on the bidding ladder. That gives you a game. The 4 ladder on the bidding ladder, 4 level on the bidding ladder for hearts and spades gives you a game. So you want to bid that level if you can. The reason you don't just jump to 4 of the suit, even though you could, that could be a good place to play, that might not be good enough. So what you just do is you bid just a new suit, any new suit first. And then your partner is going to have to bid something. And when they bid something, you will know more about their hand. Then you might jump in your next bid to the 4 level. So because we don't want to just jump to the 4 level right away, we have a special meaning for that jump to the 4 level. That's called a weak freak. And what it means is you've got more than 5, you've got 5 or more, and you've got less than 10 points. It just cuts the opponents out of the bidding. Just cuts them out. You don't need to really understand the reason for it right now. You'll understand it more when we get to competitive bidding in the second half of the class. But for right now, just remember that if you have 13 or more, you're not just going to jump to game, even though you're going to belong at least there. You're going to take a minute to get there, okay? You're not going to just jump there right away. If you jump there right away, your bid has a special meaning. It's this weak freak bid where you've got a lot of their suit and not many points. Okay, so that's when you have support for your partner's suit. We do that right away. That's our first priority. So raising the opener suit, that's the first thing you want to do if you can do it. Your second thing is if you can't do that, you bid a new suit if you have a new suit. A suit that you can bid, not your partner's suit. So that's your second priority is you can't raise partner suit, or you don't want to raise partner suit because you would have to bid 4 because you've got too many points at the game, so you bid a new suit instead. So either one of those, bidding a new suit. So if you bid something at the 1 level, that just promises you have at least 6 points and 4 cards in that suit. So if partner has bid 1 heart, major suit, remember that's all we're talking about now. They've bid 1 heart. You can bid 1 spade if you don't have hearts. And that would promise, just show 6 points and 4 spades. It doesn't promise more. Like an opening bid, you have to have 5. But when you're responding to partner, you can bid a spade with just 4. Now, if you don't have spades, but you do have clubs or diamonds, then you can bid at the 2 level. So you can go up a level to the 2 level. They bid a heart. You can bid 2 clubs or 2 diamonds if you want to. But if you go to the 2 level, that promises at least 10 points. At least 10 points. So bidding a new suit, you have to watch out. So if you have room to bid it at the 1 level, it just promises 6 points. So if your partner started with 1 heart, you can bid 1 spade. But if your partner started with 1 spade, anything you bid at the 2 level promises 10 points. So you can't do that unless you have 10 points. We're going to, in just a minute, we'll talk about what you do if you can't do that. So if you bid a new suit, the 1 level just promises 6 points. But if you have to go up to the 2 level, it promises at least 10 points. It still just promises 4 cards in the suit if it's clubs or diamonds, but there's a special rule for hearts. If you bid hearts at the 2 level, it promises 5. You just have to remember that. We'll go over that. You'll go over this enough and we'll play enough hands. Eventually, this will start making sense. We talked about this last week. At this point, you are starting to get a lot of discomfort about how am I going to remember this? How can I do this? She's telling me too many rules at one time. Bridge is like 100 things you need to remember at one time. And I have to introduce a good portion of them before we can start making some decisions about what we want to bid. So I need you to allow me to create this discomfort for you for a while, knowing that it's all going to come back when we start playing the hands. We'll start seeing what this means and how it works. But I got to kind of dump everything on you first. So be a little uncomfortable, and trust me that it won't stay uncomfortable for you. Okay. It mentions if you do have equal length suits, like if you have 5 clubs and 5 diamonds, you'll bid the higher suit. If you have 4 card equal lengths, you'll bid up the line. So you'll bid clubs, then diamonds. We'll talk more about this later. Okay, your last priority then. So far we've talked about raising your opener suit, raising that if you've got a fit, or bidding a new suit, which is your next priority. The last thing you want to do, if you can't do those other things, is bid 1 no trump. That's your last choice, okay? But we wind up doing this a lot because we can't go to the 2 level unless we have 10 points. So we have to have some way to say to partner, I've got some points, but I don't have 10 points, and I don't have support for you, and I don't have a suit I can bid for on my own. So that's why it's kind of the last choice, but we wind up bidding it a lot. Because it kind of covers the bases when we can't do our first 2 priorities. Okay. Then the last thing I want to talk about here is the opener's rebids. Partner has bid 1 heart or 1 spade. You have done something in this category. You have responded in some way. You have raised their suit. You have bid a new suit, or you have bid 1 no trump. You have done something as the responder. The bidding then goes back to the opener. The opener now has to go make a bid after that because we take turns. We go back and forth. Each time we give partner information about our hand. So when it comes back to opener will have to do something in response to what you bid. Now, if you raised their suit or you bid 1 no trump, you made a bid that limited your hand because it described the number of points that you had. If you bid a new suit, it did not describe the number of points that you had. It said at least 6 or 10 points, up to a lot of points. There was no top limit on it. So when you've made a bid when your partner has made a bid where you don't know how many points they have, you need to make another bid to help describe your hand. If they made a bid that described the number of points they had, you now know how many points you have between you, and you can make the decision about where to stop, how high you should be. So if you had 13 points and your partner bid 1 no trump, saying that they have no more than 10 points, they've got 6 to 10 points, you now know that you don't have a game, right? You can't bid to that 26-point level. They have said they have no more than 10 points. You've got 13 points, so you can just pass. You will make a minimum bid. You will either rebid your suit, raise whatever your partner's suit was, or bid the lowest no trump. That's what you do to show that you have not many points. You'll either rebid your suit, and if you rebid your suit, you're showing you have an extra card in the suit. So if you started 1 heart and your partner bids 1 no trump, if you say 2 hearts, you're saying, well, I actually had 6 hearts when I started, not 5. So if you rebid your suit, you're adding points. You also, if the bidding had started low, you can bid a new suit at the 1 level without showing any points. If you have a medium strength hand, that's about 16 or 17 to 18 points, you will bid a new suit, or jump in your suit or your partner's suit. If you really like your suit and have extra points, or like your partner's suit and have extra points, you'll jump. And if you've got 19 to 21, that's the best opening hand you could have. Then you're going to jump, shift. You'll jump up a level and go to a new suit. So your partner, if you bid one heart, your partner bids two diamonds, you might bid three clubs, three spades, jumping up a level and a new suit. That doesn't happen very often, but it is there. Okay. Now they made you really uncomfortable, right? Because there's too much stuff to remember, right? Let's look at some hands before I drive you totally crazy.
Sally, can I ask a rules question, please? So when you does the suit, like by increasing the level of the suit itself, can you then outbid like the previous bidder? Like, for example, if somebody bids one club and I'm next in line, can I bid one diamond? And does that, or do I have to bid two diamonds?
You bid one diamond.
Okay,
It goes straight up the line in the bidding ladder. You could
got
bid
it.
the one club, or excuse me, one club has been bid, you could bid one diamond. You could
Okay,
bid two diamonds.
right,
You could
right.
bid anything, but one that usually you go straight up the line without jumping. Jumping has special meanings. We usually don't jump. We usually don't
Okay,
jump, but we'll talk more about that when we talk about the competitive bidding. Because remember, right
okay,
now, first
great.
part of the class, we're
Understood.
pretending the opponents aren't bidding.
Okay.
Okay, so let's look at this hand. This hand, the has 10 high card points. Ace, king, queen, jack is 10. 11, 12, 13 for that king. One extra for length. So they have 13 points. So they are going to bid, and because they're between 13 and 21 points, they need to bid something. What will they bid? With 13 points, first priority would be to bid no trump, but they don't have enough points, right? So our second priority is to bid a major suit. Can we bid a major suit here? What do we need to have to bid a major suit? We need to have 5 cards in a major suit, right? And do they have 5 cards in a major suit?
Yes.
Yes.
They do. 5 spades. Their hearts are way prettier than their spades, aren't they? Ace, king, queen, jack in a suit is really nice. But when we open one spade, we are promising 5 in the suit, not 5 good ones. We'd like them to be good, but we don't care. It just promises 5 in the suit. So we're going to bid one spade with this hand. One spade by this person. The next person is going to pass. Now it comes down to this hand. This hand has 4, 5, 6, 7 points. No extra points for length. Do they have support for their partner's suit? Because that's their first priority, is to raise their partner's suit if they can. Do they have support for partner's suit?
Yes.
Yes, they would just need to have 3, right? But they've got 4. So good. Definite fit there. In spades, we like spades. That's what we want. Since we like partner spades and are going to raise partner spades, we get to revalue our hand using shortness points. Is there any shortness in this suit down here?
No.
No. We have no void, no singleton, no doubleton. So no extra points to be added. So this hand is worth 7 points. When we have 7 points and support for partner suit, what do? You can look back over here on our sheet. It tells us we have decided we are going to raise partner suit. And it tells us with 6 to 10 points, we're going to
So we
do
say
a
two spade.
single raise. 2 spades. Single raise, just go up to the next level, 2 spades. The next hand is going to pass. Now it comes back to the opener. The opener has to decide what to do. How many points did opener have?
14.
14. How many points could South have? Maximum?
7.
No, they have 7.
Well,
But what, from the North's point of view, South bid 2 spades. What does that 2 spade bid mean? We know, South knows it means 7 points. North just knows that that 2 spade bid means somewhere between 6 and 10 points.
so the most they could have is 10.
Most they can have is 10 because they did a single raise. If they had more, they would have done a double raise. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
So by making your bid, you are telling your partner information. South has told North that they have somewhere between 6 and 10 points, and they have at least 3 spades. So spades is our trump suit. We have decided the where part of our how high where question. Now South needs to decide how high. And South has 13 plus 1, 14 high card points. If South has the maximum they could have, it's 10. 10 plus 14 maximum points we can have between the 2 hands, North knows, is 24 points. Right? Does South know what the maximum points are?
No.
No, because North, when they bid, had said, I've got between 13 and 21. So from South's point of view, South doesn't know. South is just describing their hand. But North, once South has made the bid, North knows that they do not have a game. And when we do not have a game, we stop as quickly as we can. We put the brakes on right away. So North goes, pass. I'm passing. Yes.
You said that North knows that the most they could have is 24 points, right?
Correct.
But on your chart, 24 to 25 is the 3 level, right?
That's correct.
So isn't the 3 level a game?
No. Let's look at the bidding ladder.
Oh, it's a no trump, 3 no trump.
Exactly. Very good. It's no trump. If we were playing no trump, we could think we could probably make 3 no trump. But when it is going to be hearts or spades, we're going to have to bid to the 4 level. We really need 26 points.
Okay, got it.
25 might do it. 24, no. So, and when we don't have a game, we want to stop as low as we can because the number of points we have tells us that we probably can make 3 spades, right? We should be able to make 3 spades with the 24 points that if we had 24 points. We don't have 24 points, but if we did, that should tell us we could probably make 3 spades. So North is thinking, well, maybe we could make 3 spades, but 3 spades does not get you more points than 2 spades. It gets you more points. It gets 3 spades, gets the points for 3 spades, but you would get the same number of points if you bid 2 spades and make 3 spades. Because there's no extra bonus points until you get to that game level. So we want to stop as quick as we
I
can.
have a question about that.
Yeah.
Would there be any reason at all that you would, because your points below the line add up towards your game points, right?
Mhm.
So just to try to get to the game faster?
Well, that's a good point, Jason. That's a scoring issue that we're not going to talk about in here because that depends on you playing rubber bridge. And in this class, we're playing more standalone, hand by hand bidding and scoring, which is how you do in duplicate. So if you were playing party bridge, even party bridge, well, you still could have below the line and above the line. Anyway, I don't want to talk about above the line and below the line. You
Okay,
have a
because we're not
point.
even dealing with
If
that
you
in
are
this class.
playing that version of scoring, yes, because you would rather have 90 points, which would be 3 spades, than 60 points, which
Right.
would be 2 spades. But the way we're doing it, you always have a bonus point if bonus points of 50 points if you bid anything and make it. So in our bidding and our scoring system, we would have 50 plus 60 or 50 plus 90. It then
it doesn't
that
matter at
goes
that point.
away and we don't add it. So
And 100 points is a game.
100
Yeah.
points would be a game.
Yep.
That's how you get to the 3 and the 4 and the 5 level to determine that's your game points. So the rest of you guys, unless you've played rubber bridge before, which you may have done if you played bridge before, just don't worry about that below the line, above the line thing. We're not going to score that way in the class. It's way easier just to look at each hand individually and decide what's best to do. Okay. All right.
Okay,
So,
sorry, I have one last question. and
Okay.
we'll stop asking questions. So does that mean that like doubling and redoubling also is not a part of the?
it is a part of it. It is a
Okay,
part of it. And we'll talk about that later. Well, a lot of what we talk about in the second half of the class has to
Okay.
do with doubling and redoubling. Okay, so for this now, North has decided that they just want to pass. They don't want to go any higher, so they pass. And then East, who is passing, they didn't have anything to bid. They pass. And that is the end of that auction. The bid is 2 spades. And North was the first person that is going to be playing spades or bidding spades. So they will be playing the hand. The South hand will come down as dummy. The East hand will be the first hand to lead to this because they are to the right of the declarer. And so East will lead out a card. They will lead the Jack of Diamonds because we like to lead the top of touching honors when we have touching face cards. And here we just have the Jack, but the Jack, because if we lead a face card, it tells our partner we have the one below it. These people have not communicated at all about what's in their hand, right? East, west, no communication. So in defense, they need to try to get as much information as they can about each other's hands. And at least this is one little tiny piece of information that if I lead the Jack, I also have the 10. So now it is North is going to have to make a decision about what to play. And North looks at this hand and notice something about their trump suit. They have 5 cards in the North hand, 4 cards in the South hand. So they have 9 between them. If there are 9 cards that you have, the opponents have 4 cards. In this case, the opponents have the top 4 cards in the suit, right? Ace, king, queen, jack. So that's kind of bad. You'd like to have some of the top cards in the suit, and you don't in this case. But on the other hand, we only bid to the 2 level. And even if these cards were split 4-0, so all 4 of those cards were in one hand, it's still just 4 tricks. So that's why, remember I told you that we would bid 1 spade instead of bidding 1 heart here, even though hearts were so much prettier than spades. We want to bid the longer suits because the length of the suit is important. If there are few cards out between us, they are going to be split between 2 hands. And in this case, it could have just been if they were split 2-2, we just lose 2 tricks. Here, it's a little worse. We lose 3, but we don't lose 4. This king is going to fall under those. So that's why we don't worry about how good the suit is. Okay, questions on anything we've done then? I know you have questions on it, but anything you didn't understand about what I was saying so far? By the way, I don't know if you can see this down here. Jack Lacey just logged into BBO. Y'all see that on your screen? Anyway, Jack Lacey is a very top bridge player who used to live in Austin and now he lives in Dallas. Okay, so we have covered a lot of things today. Sorry. We've covered a lot of things today, and we're going to cover more of those next week. We're going to talk more about, we'll have a review of the major suit openings and responses, and look at another hand. Then we're going to talk about minor suit openings, responses. And when we add the minor suit part of it, all of these rules will start to fit together better and make more sense. After we do that, after we put the minor suit openings, responses to it, we are going to spend time playing hands, playing hands, playing hands, playing hands, so you can start to fit some of these ideas together. That's what you need to do to alleviate some of what I know is the discomfort that you're feeling right now. So by the end of class on Wednesday, we'll have everything we need to play a lot of hands and start really figuring out how these things fit together, because everything you say means something. Everything you don't say means something. You have to be drawing inferences as you go along about what they did and what they didn't do. And that's why we have to put everything together in one lump to give it to you, and then start narrowing things down so they make more sense to you. Okay, so that's my promise to you, that this
Sally,
is going to get better. So, yes.
Can you play this handout so we can sort of see if we understand it really quick?
Okay, yeah. Share. Okay, so, and I'm going to do this quickly, okay? It will take you longer to do it, to think about it, but just to give you an idea about how this works. So they have led a jack. Now I need to decide, I could take it in the south hand or in the north hand, because I have the ace and I have the king. So I need to decide, where do I want to take it? So in this case, I'm going to decide to take it in the north hand, mainly because I don't have many winners down here, so I want to leave one down there. That's the reason. So I'm going to win that with the king. Now I'm going to take the trump out of the east-west, because I don't want to start playing other suits and let them use their trump whenever they want to. So the first thing I'm going to do is lead a small spade. North has to play that card. They're going to win this trick. And then west has to play a card. And there's no point in them beating their partner's trick, so they'll just play their lowest card. Now east won that trick, so they get to lead again. So there's no point in them leading diamonds again, because they can see this hand. I need to make that clear to everybody. Everybody at the table can see the south hand. East can see the south hand. West can see the south hand. North can see the south hand. But nobody can see the rest of these hands. Okay, so that's a little artificial how we're looking at it now. So now it is, East took that trick. East gets to lead again. East can see that there's no tricks down here in hearts, so they might try leading a heart just to see what happens, to see if their partner has any of the top ones. But no, they don't. So North just takes that with the lowest card they can. Now North goes back to their plan of drawing the trump in. So they lead another spade. This hand does not have one, so they just play any card they want to. And the card I would play would be the 8 of clubs, because I'd want to tell partner, throw away kind of a high card in the suit. Why would I throw away a high card? Well, because I want partner to notice and maybe lead that card that to me. So I'm going to play the 8. You could play any of these. It doesn't make any difference. The 8, 5, 4, 3, 2. Then this hand will play, oh, sorry, spade was led. So this hand has to play a spade. And now this hand will win the trick. Now they can lead anything they want to lead. And if they notice that their partner played that 8, they may think, oh, I bet they have the ace. I'm going to play the king of clubs and see what happens. And sure enough, their partner has the ace, and so their king wins. These people had the ace, they would have played it. Now they think, I bet we've got another club trick. So they lead another club because they know their partner has the ace. So now they've won. Now they get to lead something. But now 8 tricks have been played, 8 cards have been played in clubs. They've got 8, 9, 10, 11. They're worried that somebody is going to be out. So they're probably not going to lead another club. They're probably going to go back to these diamonds and see what happens. They're going to take it. And now we still have one more trump out, right? When there's only one more trump out and it's the ace, that's just going to win sometime. So you could just let them win it whenever they want to, or you could just go ahead and pull it in if you want to. So let's go ahead and do that. They can throw any card away. It doesn't make any difference. And now it really doesn't make any difference what's played now, because look at the north hand. The north is going to win the rest of the tricks, because if a club or a diamond is led, north will trump it and win. And then we'll play the ace, king, queen of hearts, which are all good. Does that make sense to everybody? Usually in a hand, there will be a point where you get down to a point where somebody knows who has the rest of the tricks. Not always, but frequently. In this case, now we still have 5 tricks left, but we know who is going to win the rest of the tricks. So West could lead anything now. They are leading. And now this trick will win. The queen will win. And at this point, these people could just say, I have the rest of the tricks, and do what's called claiming, and they would have the rest of the tricks. So I'm going to do that just to save time. We could play it out one by one, but it would be the same result. So I'm going to claim, and I'm going to claim the rest of the tricks, 4 tricks. And now it says that they accepted the claim. We won 8 tricks. Remember, we bid to 2 spades. That's what we promised we would make. Also remember, we were talking about the fact we knew 24 was the most we could have, but we did not actually have 24, did we? We had the 14 that were up here, and we had 7 down here. So 14 and 7 was just 21. We were able to make 8 tricks though with it. Those points that are on the bidding ladder are guidelines, but there are a lot of things that can impact how high you can actually go. So even with just 21, 22 points, we were able to take 8 tricks to bid 2 of a suit. Did that help you? Did that help you know?
It did. It helped me a lot. Thank you.
Good, good. Okay. All right. So there we have it. Wednesday, we will review this again and talk about minor suit bidding and start playing hands. All right. See you guys on Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sally.
Bye-bye.